evening in different kind of languages. Tonight, I would like to say good evening to our foreign exchange. Ano yan, Amerikano po yun. Now, I would like to say in our language sa Pilipinas, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mga Tagalog yan, mga Tagalog. Ayun, dito naman tayo ngayon sa mga in the other places. In Japan, different, you know. When they say good evening, it's very difficult. They always do like that. Isa kang sila, isa kang. Kumbawa ne. Ano ine? Soso ne? Sok-sok ne? Japanese good evening. Now, we go to other countries, they say good evening differently. Okay? In the Philippines, there are so many islands, different kinds of mouth. Yan in Kapampangan, they say good evening na nasalo ang bula sa titi. In Pampanga, that's the one. Good evening. Okay, in Bicol, different good evening. Mga uragon kamo. Okay. I give you, I told you different kind of good evening. Okay. In Bisaya, mayong gabi sa inyong tanan, pistinyawa. Okay. You know, I have to speak English little by little because you see my English is very comfortable. It's out of stock. I have only very few carried to me tonight. So I will speak my language and I will speak also your language. It's up to you to understand. If you don't understand, go home. Okay, joke only. Now, in other island where the President Marcos used to stay before, that is in Ilocos. You know, they have different, I will say this very carefully because you see, Jokerino, that all the one in channel 13, I was Cisco MC for 2 years. So he taught me how to say good evening in Ilocano, and I would like to say it slowly. In Ilocano, it is like this. Naimbag, nagabi, nga naiyot sa amin. I don't want to make mistake.
Sansu show. Oh my God. I mean, I hope you enjoyed my mom's video. That was, I think, second to the last live show that she did. And that's why I started with it because you know why? Um, this is her ninth year anniversary. October 8th was her ninth year anniversary of her passing. So I just want to show you again, or just to give you a remembrance, the memory of what Elizabeth Ramsey was all about, you know. But of course, first of all, I just want to say welcome to the Sunset Show, my online family and friends. With PHLV Radio, Viva Las Vegas. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, excuse me, about what we're going to do later, or what my news is all about. Good, there's a good news about what they're going to do about my mom's legend. And as you know, I wrote a book about her life, and at the moment, we're looking at doing a movie about her life, about what the book is all about her memoir. And I just want to, I hope you enjoyed. And of course, I'm not going to greet you the way my mom greets you. So I'm just going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because my mom, it was a night show, so you know how the Filipino words can be translated into a different thing. Okay, so this time, um, after this, we let's take a break because I'm going to introduce you to a very very talented man. Um, he's been around for a while. I think he's been around since 1920s. No, I'm just kidding. He's a young man. He's a very young man. He's from Las Vegas. But well, let's take a break and I introduce him to you. See you later.
Po, si Orlino de la Cruz ay kapitan po ng Patal Pinto sa Pinatubo. Nagpapasalamat po ako sa Aita Tribe Foundation. Nagpapasalamat po ako uli sa mga bigay nyo po. Dito po ay lumiwanag na po ang namin po, community namin po. Nuulit ko lang po, nagpapasalamat ako sa inyo po.
Bilala ko yata.
Dito po kami natulog. Super lamig, parang nasa Tagaytay. Ayan. Ayan. Ayun po yung Pinatubo, yung may pag.
Hi, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that little clip that we have. As you know, I'm a president of the Ida Tribe Foundation, and we would like to ask your donation and, just check out our website, theidatribes.org, just to remind you about what our projects are all about, but what we're doing to give them clean water, solar and all that to our indigenous people in the Philippines. So check out our website. So now I want to introduce to you, he's an active military man. He serves in the Air Force. And on the side, he does his own podcast, a YouTube podcast about politics and pop culture. And when you said pop culture, it means he's a young man. He's the same age as me. I'm only 25, so I'm also in the pop culture. Yeah, right. Okay, now is this pop culture from Fil-Am. It's a conservative perspective and also member of the Open Forum with Ate Josie. Let me see what Ate Josie's last name. Harrison. As you know, if you don't know, Josie Harrison is the mother of Jokoy, and I was already at her house too. She invited me at her house and I interviewed her. She's an amazing woman. Well, Ate Josie, if you're watching, I've been praying for you. Now, let me introduce to you this young man. As I said, he's been around for a while, and I can't wait. And I'm so honored to have him because it was a last minute thing. I guess we're in show business, You're always ready, right? Especially when you're in the military. You're always ready. What was the Army say? Oh, he's the Air Force. He might have a different motto. But the Army said, be ready at all times. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mitch, Michel, right?
Yes.
Lozada.
Yes.
Lozada.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you so much. Love to be here. And so, just a quick introduction for myself to your audience. My name is Mitch Lozada. I'm currently serving in the U.S. Air Force, and on the side, I am a YouTuber commentator covering politics and pop culture from a conservative perspective. And like Sansu was mentioning, I also am a panelist on Tita Josie's Open Forum show. And so, again, love being here and talking. And so, thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And I'm honored, as I said, tell us a little bit about yourself. Were you born and raised here? Tell us a little bit to our family, viewers, family and friends out there. And where were you born and raised?
Sure. My parents actually, my dad's from Cebu, my mom's from Quezon City, but they immigrated to Canada first, and so that's where they met and had me and my sister. So I actually was born Canadian. That's where my first name, Michel, comes from. My parents decided to give me my sister a French name, so my first name is actually Michelle. I go by Mitch, but my first name is really Michelle, and my sister's name is Margot. And so shortly after I was born, we moved to California for my dad's job in engineering. And pretty much I was raised in Southern California my whole life. San Fernando Valley, for those who are familiar, 818 went up. And in 2011, well, kind of way back, I joined the Air Force. And so I've been in the Air Force for 13 years now. It's totally been super quick. It doesn't feel like 13 years, but I totally enjoy it. I work with computers for majority of my career, and that's my industry. And then, like I said, on the side, I do YouTube and commentary, and yeah, so the Air Force pays my bills, and YouTube is my side hustle until I can make it a real hustle.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service, my dear. It's not easy. My late husband was also in the Army, but I also work for the Air Force. I'm I'm not going to say. Yeah, I just work for the military because if I say retired from the federal employee, they said, "Oh my God, Sansu is not 25." No, so let's put it this way: I also worked for the Air Force at one time. But okay, now what is your MOS?
Our version is AFSC. It's a 3 Delta 1X2 or 1 Delta. They are constantly changing it, but if anything else, it's computers, it's communications, computer networking. So that's my background.
Oh, okay. Have you ever been in a war zone, or have you been, how do you call it, deployed?
Deployed. I haven't been in a traditional deployment. I've been to what we call TDY, so temporary duty, and being in different locations. So I've been in parts of the Middle East, parts where I can't say, and then I'm willing to say like I've been in Jordan, so that's the closest I've been to the Holy Land, and so that was cool. I got to see the Dead Sea, and I got to be at Mount Nebo, where traditionally Moses was laid to rest. So that was really cool. So yeah.
Oh wow, the Dead Sea. So the sea is really dead.
It's
You don't have to explain though. Well, I just want to have a little rumor there,
yeah.
But so you proclaim, I mean not proclaim, you said that you're Catholic.
Yes.
Your whole family's Catholic. You didn't, because there's a lot of Catholic right now that converted into born again kind of thing, and that's good that you stick to being Catholic. So what do you learn of being a Catholic?
Yeah, so I grew up in a very Catholic home, and great way to point that out, because a lot of what I talk about on my YouTube, and I translate this over on Open Forum, and so I was raised raised Catholic, and for majority of my life, I would say I was culturally Catholic, just going through the motions. And luckily, by the grace of God, I got really invested in faith in 2018. And so I learned about our church history, learning Latin prayers, going to traditional Latin mass, and going to Bible studies, going to these conferences, like most recent to the National Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis. Great experience, powerful experience. And so, really on fire with the Holy Spirit. And a portion of that is translating that, again, like I said, on my YouTube, as well as sharing my faith on Open Forum.
Oh, okay. But have you been an altar boy at all? Have you ever served as an altar boy?
So I really hadn't focused on any ministries as far as like altar serving or Eucharistic ministry and any of that. Most of my background, I guess, is just being part of the young adults and taking part of like praise and worship and Bible studies. And actually, that's where, if anything else, I do appreciate a lot of apologetics. So not less of the altar server portion, but more of like learning about the Bible and sharing and the word of Jesus. So.
Oh, okay, that's good. So you're more into the Bible thing. So is that your parents kind of brought you up as being a Catholic, but as you said, you wasn't too serious until 2018. So what changed that? What changed that you kind of wake up one morning and says, "Okay, I want to be serious about my religion"? What happened?
Yeah, great question. I think everyone's on a different faith journey, right? And so in 2018, it was just one of those things where conversations with coworkers and strangers, and I couldn't defend my faith. I couldn't defend my stances on even political stuff, right? And so it bothered me that I couldn't defend like Mary, right? And so I can do very surface level apologetics and say like, yeah, we don't worship Mary. She's a creature, a human, but she has been given a full of grace, right? But by God, right? And so I can do only bare minimum, and it bothered me that as a practicing Catholic, I couldn't defend Catholicism on a deeper level. And so it made me reach and research the Catholic faith. And so I'm glad that it wasn't a fad. I'm glad it wasn't a trend. It wasn't like one of those things where like I just read something cool and that was that. Like this faith journey was continuously fruitful and continuously growing to the point where I'm using it to share my faith on my channel and having these conversations with other fellow Catholics to be on fire with the Holy Spirit, really. And there's really, especially now, since 2018, I'm seeing a lot of resurgence with the Catholic faith and Christianity in general. I think a lot of people need that. Like we talk, like there's a lot of talk and things about like mental issues and mental health, and a good portion of that is falling into Jesus, right? And so obviously, I'm like, if you like whatever therapies work for you, that's great. But a good portion of that, a lot of people are missing Jesus in their life, right? And so they replace Jesus with alcohol. They replace Jesus with, partying, and so they're filling a void, a God-shaped hole in their heart. And so a good portion of redirecting your life is bringing back Jesus in your life. And I think a good portion of young men, especially, need that. Obviously, women too, but a good portion of men really need Jesus, and everyone else too. But like I said, there's a peace and meaning and reason and purpose in Christ. So.
Okay, but that's a good explanation, though. But I don't think we can generalize it. The fact is, alcoholism or drug addiction or all of that, because we can't really relate to people that are actually going through those things. And everybody are not Catholic. Everybody don't have to say, I love Jesus, because some people out there are different religion. So we cannot really generalize it that, because you have a mental issue because you don't have Jesus in your life. But what I could say is, just be proud of being Catholic. I mean, respect one each other's religion. And for me, that's how I grew up. Because everybody, like I was born and raised in the Philippines, and all I know is about I didn't go to church until the late time in my life, but in the younger one, our family don't go to church all the time. We have a lot of statues at home because because of the as a symbol of being Catholic, but nothing about Bible study or anything. In the old generation, we don't have that. We don't have the Bible study. We don't have all that kind of thing. So mental issues goes with a different religion, not just because you don't have Jesus in your life. Some people have going through some life, struggle, trials, and tribulations. So, what I could say is, actually, we just celebrated Our Lady of Fatima. I mean, if you know about the Blessed Mother, Our Lady of Fatima is. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, there's some stories. Yeah, I'm not. I can't. I think I might be confusing with the three children. That it's the Fatima.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the
Yeah.
one. That's the Lady of Fatima with the three children. That she appeared to the three children. Churches, well, some Catholic churches, they do celebrate. They do procession and novena and all that stuff, right? From May to October. So last October 13 was her last day of her celebration, and that's why there's a difference between being Catholic and being Christian. You know what I mean? The born again, and it's always been a question mark. Why Catholic always pray to Blessed Mother? We don't pray. We ask her to intercede, and so that I mean, I know Jesus is busy. God is busy. That's why we have so many saints. Because if their line is busy, then we can knock on Saint Anthony or Saint Jude or any other. Said, hey, Jesus is busy right now. Can you help me out because I lost my keys? Kind of thing. So that's how I look at it. But tell us, being a young man, being exposed into the Catholic faith, what else did you learn? I mean, you said that there's a pros and cons that you've learned from it. What are the pros and cons that you were saying?
Yeah. So just real quick, I don't, especially when it gets to my audience, and I do apologetics. I don't want to use this as a weaponizing. And so when I say people don't have Jesus and it's nothing, it's not nothing to put them down, right? I just say it so that because I find Catholicism beautiful, and again, it's not to put any other Christian down, right? It's just I just want to express my joy in Jesus, right? Likewise, when it comes to other mental issues and mental health, yeah, of course, there's people who will suffer from PTSD. Reading the Bible may not be the initial step. Maybe they have to deal with it in a certain way. All I'm saying is there's always room for Jesus, and you can't just put away. There's always miracles that can happen, right? And even if you are suffering from PTSD, obviously seek help however you may feel. But a good portion of that, you can find some salvation and peace and salvation in Jesus Christ. So again, I'm not saying you just need to pray it away. I think that's a misconception when it comes to religion in general. I'm not saying you just pray it away and don't seek out any additional help. All the help is needed, right? And I just want to encourage folks to bring Jesus in your life, and I think that's what I'm trying to encourage folks, right? And so going into that question of pros and cons, right? And so it was this idea talking about cultural Catholicism, and I think a lot of Catholics growing up Catholic, like you were mentioning, it has a lot of icons and statues in their homes, and that's great to reflect on that. But I think I would like to encourage everyone who's listening to be more invested in faith, to actually not only read the Bible, but learn about church history, learn Latin, some of the languages of the church. And so I think there's a treasure of Catholicism, Christianity in general, that is beautiful, right? And so I just encourage everyone to look into Christianity and as a whole. Obviously, I'm more have a more affinity towards Catholicism, but sure, just follow Jesus however the Holy Spirit guides you to. So yeah.
That's good. Let's see. That's a better explanation, actually. I like that one. Because we don't want to offend anybody, especially when they're not into the same religion as we are. Being Catholic, and there's always a stigma about, oh, because you're Catholic, you're more righteous and all that. There's no righteous. There's no. We cannot judge people. Only God is the only one who can really say, that you're forgiven, or you're a sinner, you're all of that, because we're all sinners. And we can never really say, okay, I'm better than you because I'm Catholic. And I hear that sometimes, or I'm Christian and I'm better than you. So much for their religion. Tell us a little bit, what made you, get, why did you join the military?
Yeah. So really, I wanted a job security, and so I was looking into the Air Force as far as a post college career path. And so when I took my test, I was studying to be an officer first, but my grades weren't. I was partying too much in college, and my grades weren't the greatest. We'll just put it there, right? But so I went enlisted instead. But when I was taking my test to go into the Air Force, I had to go to LA Air Force Base to take my test, and I immediately had a sense of I belong here. And
Mhm.
and when I came to my first assignment after joining the Air Force, and I was
Mhm.
actually was stationed in Japan, Misawa, where actually Jokoi was born. And so I had I knew already this is what I was meant to do, and this is the path that I was meant to. So much so, this is really cool, right? And so right now I'm at Fort Campbell here in well, it's in Kentucky/Tennessee. This is by the grace of God. Where people see coincidence, I see providence. So right outside of Fort Campbell is St. Michael Catholic Church, my namesake, St. Michael, Michel, right? And on post on Fort Campbell, there's different gyms named after certain people, and there's a gym with my last name, Lozada. So God has sent me to a place where my first and last name is. I'm Air Force, and you're sending me to an Army installation. Again, like you can say that is a coincidence, but I think God is moving in my life, and I am. I am only, and this is the prayer for my channel. Like my platform is His platform, and so
Mhm.
I continue to have that prayer, and for however God chooses to use me, I just am thankful and blessed, and ask that however this unfolds, I pray
Yes,
for the greater glory of God.
that's good. That's really nice. That's a very nice word. A nice message. Because not a lot of young generation right now is into their religion. They really need help. They really need faith warriors. And maybe that's one of your mission, to be a faith warrior. To introduce to your generation about what the religion is all about. You know, and so being okay. I'm surprised you haven't been deployed somewhere else. But you've been in Las Vegas for like how many years now?
Yeah,
8 years.
so yeah, so I was in Japan for 2 years, Las Vegas for 8 years, and then I've been here in Fort Campbell for 1 year.
For 1 year. So are you gonna make it a career then? You're gonna retire being a military
Um,
in the military?
soft yes. So I'm 13 years in, 7 more years to go. And so we'll see what my life and career takes after. But for the most part, it looks like I'm gonna finish 7 years, and 7 years is super quick. So 13 years has flown by, so it hasn't felt like it. Unless when I'm talking to a young airman who's been in for like 1 year, and then it seems crazy that I've been in
Mhm.
for 13 years. So
Oh, okay. But okay, I thought it's supposed to be 24 years, no, to retire, or 20 years. You
20
can
years.
retire 20 years?
Yeah.
Oh, 20 years. Awesome. So are you single?
Yes.
So being a single man, so are you looking for someone? Okay, when you look for a woman to be your partner in life, I mean, what do you look for?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if this is like an advertising for anyone who's listening, but yeah, I would love a wonderful Catholic woman who's devout in her faith.
Oh, number one is
So
Catholic, right? She has
yeah,
to be Catholic.
I mean, it's just gonna be easier. I'm sure if someone wasn't Catholic, I think I
Mhm.
would be open to it. But as someone like in my own home, like in my parents, like growing up with my parents both being Catholic, I think it just makes everything a little bit easier when you share the faith because you know we all went to church as a family, and I would love to do the same. So priority for me is for finding a wife that is Catholic and obviously like it doesn't have to be Filipino, but like again, it'll just be easier to grow with similarities in the same culture of finding a Filipina in my life. So
Oh,
pray
okay.
for me, and whoever is out there listening. So
Well, you're already praying, so just include it in your prayer. So,
yeah.
God, be the woman that, that I'm looking for. Does she have to be beautiful? Does she have to be what? Or just the
I
herself,
mean,
right?
yes. Obviously, beauty is subjective, but yes, I would love for beauty. You know, as I'm very active as well, like, and so I would like someone who we can go on walks and
Mhm.
go active to the gym, and so someone who is active with me would also be great. And if they're also in like the media space, that I think that would also be beneficial just because it'll help my career, it'll help her career, and so that I mean, it wouldn't be a deal breaker if they're not right, but I think
Mhm.
it would be helpful to find someone who is in the same space, have the same like characteristics and same similarities and same interests. I think also are all there, and humor. I think I
Humor
can
is human.
like I think that's the best portion I'm trying to look for. Someone who like we can laugh together. I think
Yeah.
that would be the best portion too. I think that would be a good portion to have that we can enjoy life and laugh together. So yeah.
Yeah. But they don't have to be in the military. She don't have to be in the
Oh
military.
no.
How about if you find the love in a woman in the military? Are you going to accept it?
Of course. We'll like I'm sure. A lot of the mill to mill, our verbiage is military to military. They because like the Air Force pays us money, like a stipend type of thing, to for our
Mhm.
housing, and so when you're married, they still pay you that same amount. So it's your payment is not cut in half. So a lot of
Mhm.
military makes a lot of wouldn't say a lot of money, but makes additional cash when
Mhm.
you're living in the same household and you're still getting the same amount of money from the military. So, but yeah, I mean that's
No,
a
well,
benefit.
yeah, Air Force housing actually is the best housing. The best, because they do provide a lot of things. I don't know why. I just find it they have better housing, better units, and all that. Okay, so is your mom and dad they migrated in Canada, and then you said and then they moved here in the US, right? Because of your dad's job. So which do you prefer, Canada or US?
So I visited Canada a few times, well maybe twice, and but I left there when I was 2, so I don't have any memories of Canada. So pretty much I was raised in Southern California.
In the Southern California?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never been to the Philippines at all? Have you ever visited Philippines?
I visited when I was like nearly a baby, like a toddler, and then I visited in 2006. So I got to see where my parents grew up individually, and the majority of the time was spent in Cebu, where my dad grew up.
Yeah, Cebu, because Cebu is a beautiful island. Okay, that's why I asked you about the Philippines because growing up in the Philippines, racism is so high. I grew up in the Philippines, being the darkest in the family. I got all the name calling in my life, and so did you ever get that, or did you ever experience racism at all?
I can't say that I have. There was one time I've been into Albany, New York. It was for my cousin's wedding out there. And I think we were in like a small town, and here I rolled up with like a big Filipino family at like some diner, and then like it felt like a record scratch, right? Like everyone stopped what they're doing and like looked at us. And again, it wasn't anything like you could interpret that as maybe racism or something, but like again, like if you have a bunch of strangers come into like your town, you're gonna shift your eyes over, maybe not in a negative or positive way, but like you're gonna be inquisitive, like who are a bunch of strangers coming into your diner.
Yes.
So again, I don't know if that was negative or positive as racism goes, but that's it. That's the point that or reference that I had that was closely to something that I felt awkward being a Filipino. But again, since I grew up majority of my life in California, right, and so a lot of Filipino community out there. So so growing up, it was normal, right? Like you have a bunch of other Asians and like super diverse in Southern California. So that portion did not affect me growing up, at least. So no.
Oh, okay. So you just got a little taste of what racism is all about.
Yeah.
So that was really nothing. So how do you feel about what do you think about these immigrants that are coming in? They're being discriminated because and they're being called you don't belong here and all that. And that's the hardest part because we're all immigrants in this country, as you know that, right? This country belongs to Native Americans. So for any immigrants, I know your mom and dad went through because you're not born and raised here in the US. Everybody, see the thing about the Filipinos, when they came here, they were really educated. They never really experienced the hardship what the Black people have experienced in this country, being from slavery up to this point. So for us to have the right to vote, the right to have freedom and all that, we should. I mean, for me, I have to thank Dr. Martin Luther King because he opened the gateway for all of us, for all race, for all religion and everything. Because without the civil rights movement, I don't think we have all this right the way we're doing right now. That we can talk as much as we want, all this without any limitation. Because I was saying that because my mom experienced it when she came here. We never believed it because for us in the Philippines, never thought, oh no, they can't be that bad. It was that bad that when you come into a restaurant, they will deny you because you're Black. And my mom is not as dark as me, as you notice. But Pilita Corrales, I know you don't know her, but she's like a Spanish, beautiful woman, light skin and everything. They never even accepted them. And they're performers. They were invited to perform in Las Vegas. And they were turned down in the restaurant because they're not white. And that's how bad it was in the 1950s. And for some people to bring that back, they don't understand it. The hardship not to be accepted because of your color. And that's why I was asking you about the racism, because us Filipinos are born and raised, I guess, like you were born and raised here in the US. I don't know if your parents have educated you about racism, how about the Black people, the slavery and all that. Because I wasn't educated when I was in the Philippines. The slavery, it never even showed in the book, in the Filipino history, the racism in the US. Because we have our own racism in the Philippines, which is the indigenous people, the people that I'm helping right now. And think about it, this is 2024 and the government is not taking care of them. They can't even give them a decent toilet. And we have us for in the US to come down there and to help them out, to give them clean water, to give them toilets. And that's why when someone talks about bring, make America great again, America is great. Then America is beautiful. The people is the one that make it harder to live here. Is the racism that make it harder to live here. And that's why I was gonna ask you about how do you feel about being called, because I know I watched it in your podcast about the coconut thing. And do you consider yourself a coconut?
Yeah.
Because can you explain that to the people what you're talking about?
Yeah, so most recently, there was an event sponsored by the Filipino American Chamber of Greater Nevada a few
Mhm.
months ago, celebrating Filipino Food Month, and so one of the themes was for that was Bahay Kubu, which is coconut, right? And so they were trying to do like a food tasting with a lot of the Filipino businesses in Las Vegas, and so I got to do a video, and I censored my video talking about coconut, which is can be used as a derogatory term which could mean like brown on the outside, white put on the inside, right? White on the inside. And so I was asking folks what did they navigate with that word, and a lot of folks didn't really hear that word. So I think that's indicative that like not that we're past racism, but it's not as prevalent as you were mentioning in years past. Obviously, there's still going to be racism. I think that you can never get past that. But I think what we can do is still look into what like ourselves as individuals and the beauty that we are as individual people. And so in that conversation, again, talking about coconut, brown on the outside, white on the inside, it was just one of those things I was asking folks, and everyone talked about like their perspectives. And again, most of it, actually everyone who was interviewed had a positive insight that's saying like, hey, again, we should celebrate who we are, and not focus on the negatives, not focus on the labeling and all that stuff. And I even talked to one of my homies, Sarah Mill, and I said like we should just change up the narrative. If you're talking that I'm a coconut, well, I'm champorado, I'm a little brown, I'm a little bit green, like change the narrative to change it to something positive, change the dialogue in which you are embracing your culture. Because the way that I approach my channel is I'm fully Filipino and I'm fully American, and I don't make a distinction of each other. And so, and I also want to make a point, like, especially in the military, we're very diverse, but like that diversity
Now
works.
you're
Yeah,
very lucky.
we are very, now. But that diversity works because we have a shared mission, right? We have a shared common goal. And I think, especially when we're having that conversation about diversity in America right now, I think we need to, well, obviously I have a Catholicism background, right? I think I would prefer us to have the same values, right? And center ourselves, not focusing on our skin color. I want us to focus on God. Because again, God saved all of us. And so, and I think that's where I want our focus and our mission to center around, not the individual, not hating each other on our individual, because we're all children of Christ, right? And so I think that's that's something that I said in that video. Before we're Filipino, before we're Americans, or whatever labels, we are all first children of Christ, and we should root our identity in that. And so, again, not everyone's Christian. I understand that, but obviously, that's where I want to encourage people to center their life around. And so, I think that's the conversation I like having. And so, obviously, it's Filipino American History Month. I would love to celebrate our culture, other people's culture, but like I said, I think we definitely need to fill ourselves with a Christ-driven purpose, and so
Yes, yes. And as you mentioned about Filipino American History Month, and that's why that's good that we talked about being in the military, being born and raised here, and how do you feel about? And actually, you were born in Canada. It's a different country, but it's just different perspectives. And in the way you live in this country, and we should appreciate. And you think the biggest God commandment is what? What is the biggest commandment that God gave us?
to love each other, to love our Lord our God, and to love our neighbors as ourselves.
There you go. Amen to that. Because sometimes I ask people like that, and they were like, "Oh, the biggest commandment: thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not." No, that's not it. That's the the biggest one is to love yourself as much as you love your neighbors. And it's good. It's the hardest thing to love someone that disagree with you, or to love someone that you consider yourself an enemy. And that's the hard. And if you can do that, Oh, wow. More power to you. No, you're really a true Christian, for not, discriminating someone or, talking bad about someone and you don't even know who that person is, and put someone down. And that's the hardest part also with our Filipino culture, you know, that we always have that they call the crab,
Crab
crab
mentality.
mentality,
Yeah.
and I hope we can get rid of that because we're supposed to support each other. Being Filipinos, I mean, we're supposed to unite. Our community is supposed to be stronger. We've been here for centuries in the U.S. and we're still broken. You know what I mean? And I hope that our family, online family and friends out there, you don't have to be Filipinos, but we have to embrace everyone, And so I really appreciate all your points, your talking points, Mitch, because sometimes I just need to get a perspective from a younger person, like my age. Remember, Mitch, we're the same age now.
Yeah, we're the same age.
So that's why I'm saying is, I really appreciate you bringing out there about, salvation and all this other stuff that a lot of young people really don't talk about it anymore. They can talk about TikTok and, Instagram and all of that. But it's good. It's good. Your parents should be proud of you. Definitely, you should be proud of it. And also maybe the woman that you're looking for probably watching us right now. You never know. Please give us a shout out to everyone out there. Please, who you want to give a shout out to?
There's no one in particular, but if you guys want to follow me, I am on YouTube, Mitch Lozada, MITCHLOZADA. I'm also on Instagram, Hey Mitch, that's HAY Mitch, and on Twitter /X, I'm Maverick Mitch, that's MVRCKMITCH, and so you can find my socials there. So.
Oh, thank you, and hope we can have this conversation again. I like this kind of conversation. This is an open book because you're an open book. We can talk about anything. And so, what do you think about the politics? Which election is coming up. What do you think? Are you nervous?
I am optimistic, right? And so when it comes to all these things, like it is up in the air. I think a lot of people kind of already have whatever side they're voting on, and so that's great. And I think it's important just to make sure you vote. Like, doesn't matter,
Yes.
like if you're left or right, whatever. Just express your vote, and hopefully I don't know how much of you want to get into it, but like just vote according, and hopefully your values and everything lines up to your vote. And so yeah.
Yes, values, freedom, and everything. Respect is number one. And I hope we'll just invite everyone. Please vote. November 5 is not too far away, and that will make a difference in this country. Number one is freedom. Number one is to have a right to vote. I mean, a lot of our forefathers and mothers died for us so that we have the right. Like women, we didn't get the right to vote until the 1960s, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, men been voting all their lives. I mean, white men, but the black men, they didn't come in until I don't know, 1950s or 1940s. I mean, I have to look at the history. Don't quote me on that. But in the later part, so us Filipinos or us immigrants and everything, we were in the later part. So we have to value what we have, the freedom that we have now, the right to vote. So please exercise it. And Mitch, oh my God, this is amazing. And I hope to see you in person, and we can really talk deeper and deeper and deeper. Maybe we can dance. Do you dance?
I do dance.
Of course, you can't be Filipino, we can dance.
Yeah.
Do you sing karaoke?
Of course, I'm Filipino. Like,
There you go. 100%. Well, thank you, Mitch. God bless you, and hope to see you again. Okay. Good luck in the future. Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Sansu. It's for you, Sansu.
Hi guys, I just want to thank Mitch Lozada. I forgot to ask him if he's related to Ike Lozada. Because Ike Lozada was a very famous talk show host in the Philippines in my mom's generation. I forgot to ask him if he's related to him. But anyway, I just want to thank him. He's an amazing young man. I hope he find the right woman in his life, for his life, because he's a good man. But anyway, my cousin Jessa Ramsey is supposed to be with me today, but she lives in the Philippines. She lives in Cebu, and she's having a hard time connecting with us. That's the hardest part when you're when you're doing this kind of live show, and my guest will be from another country. So we'll have her next on the next episode or the next show. And I just want to thank the good news that I was telling you in the beginning, that they're gonna name an art class in my mom's name, in honor of my mom, Elizabeth Ramsey, in the San Carlos, because San Carlos is where my mom was born and raised. It's a little city next to Cebu. It's in Negros Occidental. Of course, it's in Negros. All the Negros are. I'm just kidding. All the Ramses. But so they're gonna honor her and name one of these classes in art. Oh my God, it's about time. No, we're gonna work now on naming a street under my mom's name. It's gonna work out. I just want to thank San Carlos Municipal or the school, my cousin Raymond, because he's the one that encouraged the school to have my mom's name. And also Jessa, I'm sorry, girl, that we missed you tonight. But as I said, I'm gonna have you a guest to be my guest next time. And I hope that we can connect again. So I just want to thank you guys for watching our show today. And I hope you learned something. I hope that I didn't do any country today, because I want to focus on my mom and about her legacy. And one of these days, she's really going to be known all over the world. She deserves it. So remember that name, Elizabeth Ramsey, Philippine Queen of Rock and Roll, or the Queen of the Philippine Rock and Roll, whichever you want to call it. But also the book is available on Amazon. So thank you, PHLV Radio, headed by Johan Sison, Viva Las Vegas. And thank you, my online family and friends, for sticking by with me, for watching, for listening. And also, Halloween is coming up. I don't know if I'm going to wear makeup. Oh, give me a suggestion. What kind of makeup should I wear on Halloween? So thank you again. God bless you all. And don't forget to spay and neuter your pets to control the population. And don't forget to vote again. Okay. Love, peace, and joy. Love you guys. Bye.
Thank you.